reporting from Channel 42 News. This just in from Giverny, France, where a resident necromancer has resurrected the disembodied skull of world-famous impressionist Claude Monet. He just happens to be in the studio with us today due to our semi-legal smuggling of his skull to America. But don't worry, France is not upset. Shotguns are very persuasive. And now to our interviewer, Shire.
Oh, thanks, Brittany. Now, Monet, tell us about yourself.
Well, Kara, I was dead for about a century, but then this necromancer comes up, resurrects me into my skull, because apparently he thought I had the money I owe him. Yeah, he resurrected himself too, he was kind of a lich. But the point is, I'm here now because you filthy Americans stole my skull and put it in a crate and then brought it over here. But, it is for the best. In the meantime, I have met some fascinating people over here, and I've learned why my countrymen hate you people. So, I have learned some of the popular hipster phrases these days, yo, what up, home, G-dog? Yep, I'm going to be very popular with the kids. Other than being, dead, I haven't really been doing anything.
Well, all right, sweetie. When and where were you born?
Well, I was born in Paris, France, back in November 14th, 1840, is it that point? Yes. But, have you ever been there? It's a lovely place. Much better than here, I can tell you that much. I've only been out of my crate for like 5 minutes, but I can already tell you, there is better than here. And I grew up with my family and my Papa Adolf, which apparently the name Adolf has some negative connotations these days, so maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that on the radio. Or, wait, this is radio, isn't it? No? Huh. Okay, well, television, whatever.
Now, honey, would you like to tell me how did you die?
Well, actually, I died from lung cancer. Very painful. Back in 1926. Yes, that. I really did not want to relive that. It was incredibly painful. Lung cancer. Although I am told these days that you people think lung cancer is related to smoking. Oh, you silly Americans, that is ridiculous. Smoking connected to lung cancer. Oh, I'm sure.
Now tell me, Monet, what were some struggles you had to deal with as an artist?
Well, I actually had quite a few struggles. For one thing, my eyesight started failing, and it distorted my color vision. As you can probably imagine, this was not very convenient for an artist. But I had some sight left in my left eye, completely blind in my right, and I wear special spectacles with curved green lens in order to see. Well, it was nasty, and between that and my tendency to spend all of my money, I was incredibly poor and going blind, and all of this kind of amounted to a lot of depression. Lots of depression. So I ended up painting most of my later works from memory, and what I could tell, I don't know what they look like, can't tell. Are they good? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I can't tell because I can't see.
Did you have any family?
Oh, my family. Well, I'm not going to just waste your time on how I grew up, but I will tell you that my first wife was my hoe, Camille. Yes, although apparently you think that has negative connotations. What's so wrong with having a mistress? It's nice. Well, anyway, later on she died, so I married again. Good old Alice. Of course, then she later died from tuberculosis, so yeah, not good for my depression. I have not exactly had a happy life. Of course, you know, Alice was married at the time to someone else, so I guess some people would claim that's divine intervention. Well, I do not believe them. Oh yes, and remember my children? I had a son named Michael. Good old Mike. Yep. And, well, that is all I can really remember right now. I don't exactly have a brain, so kind of hard to remember things.
Did you have any colleagues or inspirations?
Oh, my inspirations! I had tons of those. Yeah, but there were my buddies. There was Eugene Boudin, and Johann Barthold John Kite. I met the guys and I still do not know how to pronounce their names. Yeah, good buddies. But I also was inspired by Japanese art. It was just lovely, the lines, the colors. But the stress on color and light over form. I loved that. That's also why I was inspired by the current realism craze that was going around. I mean, it was just lovely. I mean, at first I just drew these landscapes, but then I preferred the colors and lights over anything else. And I guess these guys were what they inspired me, you know.
Well, isn't that exciting? Did you travel much?
Oh yes, I certainly did travel a lot. I mean, there was a big war back in France with the Prussians, nasty Prussians. But yeah, I was not about to be conscripted into the French army, because not worth it. So I decided to go to England, where they would not fight the war. They accepted me over there. Yeah, it was lovely there. I mean, the English were horrid people, but their landscape was beautiful, and I loved that. And after the war was over, I got out of that country as fast as I could as well. So I went around back in Paris, living in a series of rented homes. Couldn't exactly, buy a big one. An artist's salary is not very high. Apparently my art's only appreciated after I am dead, which doesn't really help me. But that's the way life is, I guess.
Now, were you a religious man? Part of the church?
How do I phrase this? No. I was not religious in any way. No Christianity, no Islam, no animism. I was a naturalist. And you know what that means? That means I believe in what you can see and feel and touch and hear and sense in general. I do not believe in religious, spiritual things, like resurrection from the dead. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, like suddenly a guy dies and through some outside force is resurrected. We are done here.
Now, what did you think of your art?
Well, you know what I think of my art? My art is the best. I am the best artist ever. I mean, seriously. There were other people at the great art exhibition. We called it a salon, although apparently that means something else in your country, but we called it a salon. And at the salon, I had my paintings, and they were the best. The best ever.
Now, what was one of your most famous paintings?
Oh, my favorite art. Well, if I had to pick just one, I will tell you 5. There are my 5 favorites. There is Rouen Cathedral, all of them. I drew Rouen Cathedral a lot. It was one of my favorite subjects. But that leads me to my other favorite subject, and that would be water lilies, back in my garden at Giverny. Ah, Giverny, with all the gardens and all the lovely water lilies. But there were 2, the water lily pond, simply in green, and water lilies, by itself. And then of course there is my excellent impression sunrise. Yep, lovely painting. And there was also haystacks at end of summer. I drew several with that subject material, but the one called haystacks end of summer is my favorite, and you should buy it for a lot of money.
Now, what did you think of Impressionism?
Impressionism? How dare you smelly American pig dog! Your Impressionism is what our critics call our work. We called it, well, I do not really know what we called it, but the point is, it was art, and you will not degrade it with your filthy little term. Vive France! Vive France!
I'm sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulties, but fear not, Monet has been successfully put down, and we will continue the interview without him. As luck would have it, we just happen to have a panel of experts on Monet's art. Now back to Carrie to interview this very expert.
Welcome back. We are here with our panel of experts, Mr. Gas Mask Man, Miss Crazy Cat Lady, and the Predator. Now, we're going to ask them a lot of questions about some of their favorite paintings. We'll start off with Mr. Gas Mask. Sir, what would you like to tell us about the Roman cathedrals?
Well, Kara, my favorite painting of Monet's has to be Rouen Cathedral. Of course, that name is kind of misleading because it's not just one painting. It's a lot, and I mean a lot of paintings about the same building, but at different times of day. You see what happened for this one was Monet went there and he started drawing the place, but as time went on, the shadows and lighting of the building changed. And Monet's an impressionist, so those changes are critical. He didn't care much for the detail in this thing. It's all about the light and the shades. And since those changed, he was kind of stuck. So what he did was he drew a painting for each and every single time of day you can possibly imagine for this building. It was, wow. That's either dedication or insanity right there.
Thank you, sir. Now, Miss Crazy, what would you like to tell us about the Stationnaire Stay Lair?
In this painting, Monet used Camille and his friend as models. It is a relaxed, informal composition of friends enjoying each other's company. As so often with Monet, the charm of the image reveals a little of the depression and anxiety he was suffering at the at the time. It's a 15 by 20 foot painting. The problems of facing at such a scale and keeping the freshness and immediacy of the en plein air sketches defeated him, and in the late autumn he set it aside unfinished.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Mr. Predator, what would you like to tell us about the grain facts and shapes?
The richly textured surface and the high-tone color range of this canvas means you can almost feel the heat of the sun as it falls upon the newly constructed stacks of wheat. The gray stacks become vehicles independent of their subject. The sun comes from the left, causing the shadows to fall to the right. This painting is really good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Predator. Now, back to Barry at the head station.
Well, this has simply been a fascinating interview. Don't you think so? I hope you have learned a lot. I certainly have. This is Brianna McElroy reporting from Channel 42 News. Why 42? Because it's awesome in the internet everything. Word.